In this episode, we're covering all the steps I'm taking when the VeVeVerse opens. So in a recent episode, we covered things that you could do to prep for the VeVeVerse. And of course, that's beforehand. Now we're talking about things you can do once it's actually open. So in today's episode, we're covering the exact steps I'm taking. So if you enjoy the content, make sure to like and subscribe. Now, the first thing I'm going to do when I get that email from VeVe is I want to set up my account and then configure the dashboard if I'm able to in any way to make sure it's set up the way I want. I'm also going to hop into the settings to familiarize myself with what's available there. An important part of the VeVeVerse is understanding how to navigate it. And so step one is understanding the dashboard. Now, before I open my own space and check out some collectibles, the next thing I'm going to do is tour all the default environments. These are going to be pre-built worlds offered in addition to an empty space that you can open. We did tour some of them in the Cavernous free trial. We opened a warehouse, a conference room, a presentation space, as well as a few others. And another thing I'm going to do when touring these environments is adjust my sensitivity. Now, once we've toured all the default spaces, my plan is to open my own empty space and walk through the UI. So I'm going to test all the tools on the left-hand side menu, as well as the features available at the top. Some of you guys watching will know what most of this does because we have covered it before, but I wanted to make sure I covered all bases in this video for complete beginners. Now, after we've familiarized ourselves with the menu and tools, my next step will be placing down all of the available items in the library. In this case, I am just talking about the default items, not my collectibles. And this is going to allow me to do two things. First, I can get a bird's eye view on everything that's available for me to work with. And at the same time, I can also test how many elements can be placed in a world before it starts slowing down, if it does that at all. Now, after we've explored all the inventory, my plan is to leave the space and go explore some community-made worlds. Now, the reason why I want to do this after I've looked at all the items in the library is because it's going to be easier now to pick apart and understand how certain creators built certain things in their worlds. So for step 5 of my master plan, I'll be exploring all of the different worlds. Now, after we visited some worlds, I'm going to head back to that space we opened earlier, and I'm going to upload all the files for the textures and skyboxes I've saved over the past few months. In our recent episode, we did cover 6 ways to prepare for the VeVeVerse, and in that video, I did share some free resources you can use to gather these items. If you guys ended up missing that, link is in the description. Now from here, we should be good to get started on our first space. So for step 7, I'm going to begin building. And so I'm going to be using inspiration from sites like Pinterest, as well as some of the other resources I shared in episode 234. Now, one thing I will be doing through all of these steps from start to finish is creating a list of bugs or things that I would change to send to the team as feedback. And I think this is important for as many people as possible to do. There's this old narrative that goes something like, oh, well, because the team's been taking so long on the VeVeVerse, it has to be perfect. And by no means do I think it will be. We're talking about tech and a team behind the tech who can make mistakes. So I do think there are going to be bugs, but like Ben said, the more people sending in feedback, the easier it is for the team to narrow their focus on what to prioritize. If today's video helped, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Ladies and gents, that is going to conclude today's episode. I hope you enjoyed. Those are all the steps I'm personally taking before I start building in the VeVeVerse. Now, when the VeVeVerse does open, I hope to be dropping a lot more tutorials, So if there's anything you guys want me to focus on in particular, please let me know in the comment section down below. But if you enjoy the content, make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below what you want to see in a future episode. And as for our next, I'll catch you then.